Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scare204 here, and welcome back to another Minecraft Model World update video. In this update, we're going to be going ahead and talk about update 1.3 for my Model World, and of course with that, the download that is available in the video description. And all you guys need to do to download this world is to go ahead and check the link in the video description where you can go ahead and directly download the world. You can then take it and basically just drop it or unzip the file and drop it in your Minecraft folder, and you guys are good to go. Now, I do ask if you plan on exploring this world or using any of the vehicles on this. I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for any of the builds on this world. This can be anything from silent build, tweet to my channel, or this video. If this does appear on social media sites, just make sure you get proper credit, and you're free to use any of the designs on here, regardless if they've been tutorialed or not. But with that, let's go ahead and just kind of dive into the overall world changes, and then we'll go ahead and take a more detailed look at all the vehicles and stuff. Now, the first big change here is that I added the Patreon wall. We're going to take a look at that in a second here, but I wanted to do a Patreon wall just as a thank you and a kind of, I guess, tribute to all those that were patrons during my time of running my Patreon page for the couple years I did. So we'll take a look at that here in a second. I also moved all the construction vehicles into plots. So what that means is basically all those construction vehicles from the previous update have now been moved into plots corresponding to the country that produced them, basically just the manufacturer where they're based out of. And then also Poland has been added to the modern/Cold War era. We'll take a look at that, but Poland is the newest country added into basically a existing lineup. So pretty cool stuff there for that. With that though, let's go ahead and just kind of dive into taking a look at all the things that have been added, and we'll go from there. So the first thing being, we have the Patreon wall that has been added in, and this is just a kind of tribute to all those that were Patreon supporters. I do plan on creating another wall for all those that were basically commissioned builds during the time, or now that we're running into commissions rather than doing the straight up Patreon. But yeah, it's a wall. It has all my patrons that, or anybody that's ever been a patron at any point in time, all listed on here. So you can take the time, pause it, see if your name's on there. And I shouldn't have missed anybody, but if I did, be sure to let me know. But yeah, really cool stuff, and just a little tribute there, and that's right next to Spawn. So just kind of a nice little tribute to those guys. The next bit we have here is going to be the Copium diorama. Now, this was a diorama I did not too long ago, where we had some T-72s here getting blown up by some presumably Ukrainian anti-vehicle weapons. Really cool diorama. A lot of you guys really like the explosion effect there for the kind of ammo rack. So was really happy with that, and yeah, just a kind of a fun build there if you want to see this kind of cool little diorama. And definitely feel free. And again, it's located right here, right next to Spawn, kind of next to our Star Wars vehicles. So pretty cool build, and was a fun one to do for sure. And then as of recording this video, it hasn't been fully released yet, but this right here is kind of my first props pack for a modern like fob or a modern base. So this is really cool. Hopefully by the time this video is out, you guys have really enjoyed this, and we're exploring the possibility of doing some more defensive positions and barriers and stuff like this. I think it was a really fun project, and I really like just kind of building these kind of small micro builds and just combine them all into one big tutorial where you guys can just take little things and copy them over. I don't have a spot for this yet in the world, but it's just kind of sitting here in front of the Star Wars vehicles for the time being. Eventually that will get moved, but as of right now, this is where it's sitting. We then have our Star Wars section. So our Star Wars section, we have a couple new vehicles here. We have the T-47 Air Speeder or Snow Speeder. Really cool design for it. Getting really happy with the way it came out. I think it's a cool build and all that. So cool build for a pretty iconic vehicle. And then we have the May 4th special, which was the Stinger Mantis. So from the game Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, this really cool transport aircraft, or their main ship of transportation, we have basically built and then landed and in-flight configuration. This was a really fun tutorial, and really one of the only ones on YouTube that isn't pretty outdated. So again, really cool build. Happy with the way it came out, and again, should be a really cool addition to any of your Star Wars worlds if that's what you're into. So cool stuff, and that's it for our Star Wars section. We then have our large-scale ships, which basically hasn't been something that I have figured out where I want to put yet in the world. Again, it's probably going to go at the very end of the world behind the bathtub builds, but yeah, basically we have the LCAC here in a 2:1 scale, so really cool build if you're doing some amphibious landing builds and all that stuff. But yeah, just super sweet build, a lot of good detail on it, and really happy with the way this came out. But again, this is available as a tutorial on the channel at this point in time. Same thing goes for the T-47 and the Mantis. If you were curious about those should be tutorials as well. We also have the USS Houston, which is a build that I'm working on. It's actually a commission build. This is a 1-to-1 scale of the build, and it's coming together really well. So basically, it's a work in progress, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's not finished, but it should be hopefully finished here, hopefully by mid-July. But yeah, it's just been something I've kind of been slowly working on, and honestly, I really like the way it's coming together. I think it looks really cool and not bad for a 1-to-1 ship, I think, considering that's not really a scale I build in too much. But still a big work in progress, like I said. I gotta still figure out a lot of things with it, but so far so good, and it's really coming together. I also plan on doing the camouflage on it, hopefully, so we'll see a lot of the stone actually getting changed out for the camouflage. But that's it for our full-scale ships, and let's go ahead and move into our World War II section. Moving into our World War I, World War II section, and honestly a little bit of pre-World War I content as well. We first have our American section here, which saw the addition of the brand new modernized T95/T28. This was a complete redesign from the ground up compared to my old version, which was one of the oldest videos on the channel. So very happy to finally get you guys a remake of it, and it does look really sick. So really cool build, and it is available as a tutorial. And just a quick little side note, also in any of these vehicles you see that we have in plots, if you see the green little marker that says tutorial in front of it, that means there is a tutorial out for it, or there was one that's been recorded. It should be out soon. This vehicle here obviously has that, so that is it. If it does have a yellow, which you can kind of see in the background over there, then the yellow means that it is it's recorded, but it hasn't been completely finished yet. So after that, we then have the Revolutionary War / Civil War cannon. So this is my July 4th special. We have the cannon here, and then we have the cannon kind of in a limbered state, and then we also have the cannon and ammo cart. Honestly, I really am a big fan of these builds. I think they look really sweet, and I think this is, not to toot my own horn here, but one of the best static kind of cannons I've seen built in Minecraft. Most of the time they're using full block wheels and stuff, and just making some funky designs. I really honestly like this. I think it came out really good, and I am very happy with the way that looks. So that right there is basically it for our American section, and we're going to go ahead and dive back to our Soviet section. We then have an odd little Soviet tank here. This is called the T-37A. It's an amphibious tank. A really strange little vehicle, but kind of a cool one nonetheless. But just another build added to our Soviet line. Again, kind of a simple light tankette with a machine gun as the main armament, and that's pretty much it about the Soviet line. Let's move back to Germany. Moving back to Germany, we have a pretty large addition to the German line. This year was the addition of the Panzer IV off C. And these were all done as a mega tutorial, my Panzer IV family tutorial. So we have the Panzer IV off C, we have the D, we have the E, then the F1, the F2, followed by the G, the H, and the J. So all of these Panzers here are available as a tutorial, but they're all here on the world. They've been completely updated compared to my old Panzer IVs, and all the old ones have been removed on the world. So really nice design for these. I think they all look really, really clean, and the Panzer IV, again, such an iconic vehicle. You're going to be able to fit it in anywhere into your scenarios. So that's it for Germany, and let's move back to the British. The British here are another country that doesn't get much love, and we finally have a new British build here with the Churchill Mark III. So just a really good build. Again, kind of a redesign for the Churchill, considering it was, again, one of the oldest designs on my channel. So very happy to come back and revisit it and build a new design for it. But yeah, right here we have the Churchill Mark III, and that's it for our World War II section. Let's move on to our modern / Cold War ground. In our American Modern Warfare / Cold War section, we have the addition of the Minuteman III ICBM. So really cool build. We have both the kind of just static fully together version, and we also have the different stage breakdown for it as well. So you're kind of able to build some different scenes with it, have the different stages and stuff. It's pretty cool. And one of my one of my cooler builds I did in this update, something a little bit definitely more unique compared to the typical stuff, but really happy, and I think this is definitely an upgrade for missiles going forward and how I want to do them compared to just the Titan that was just completely solid. So again, really happy with the way it came out, and again, it is available as a tutorial on the channel. And then further down our American Modern Warfare line, we do have the construction vehicles again that I've mentioned before have been added in. You have your Bobcats, your grader, your bulldozer, your backhoe, and your little mini excavator. Again, all these are designed and based off Caterpillar, so and then also Bobcat, which are American companies, so that's why they're located here. But again, not going to dive too much into those, as I already went in detail for them in the last update video. The last new American modern vehicle we have here is going to be the THAAD, which was it's basically a mobile ballistic missile or anti-ballistic missile system. So again, designed to take out missiles and whatnot. I believe it can also be used for anti-aircraft purposes, but again, its main role is that anti-ballistic missile type design, or rockets. Really cool. We have both the deployed version for it and the kind of transit version. Really cool designs for the trucks. Again, just kind of using the standard American HEMTT design. But really cool design for it, and that's going to conclude our American section. Let's move back to the Soviet Union / Russia. The first build we have in our Soviet Union / Russian line is going to be the BMP-2M, a very kind of prominent vehicle being used by the Russian military at this point in time, and basically an amphibious infantry support vehicle really is what it is. Pretty cool build. This is the peak upgrade for it with the missiles on the sides, the 30mm grenade launcher, and then also the 30mm cannon. So a pretty beastly vehicle and a complete redesign for my BMP series, and hopefully we'll see some more reworks of some of the older BMPs that are up on the channel. So really cool, really happy with that, and let's go ahead and move down further down the Soviet-Russian line. Further down the line, we have a pretty cool lineup of kind of heavy trucks here for the Russians. These are, again, kind of more modern Russian vehicles. So right here we have the KAMAZ 6560, which is an 8x8. It's a heavy truck. So again, just a really large, heavy truck, which is the basis for the Panzer series of anti-aircraft defense systems. So right here we have the Panzer 1, again, built on that chassis for this supply truck here. And then we have the Panzer 2. Really, the only differences here are going to be that radar design that you have up on top there. So pretty cool. Again, both those are available as tutorials. The next one we have here is actually going to be the radar system for the Panzer. This is the SA-22 Greyhound, again, built on the same vehicle chassis, but this here is, can work with other anti-aircraft systems, but this is a massive kind of radar system that works with these two units here to basically, again, coordinate anti-aircraft fire and stuff. So really cool stuff there, and just a really cool radar system. We don't have too many of those. Next one we have here is kind of a more lackluster build, but this here is the command center. So this is the command vehicle for what would be a battery of these anti-vehicle or anti-aircraft vehicles and the radar system. So that right there is like the central command for it. And then right next to it here, we have just a simple supply truck, KAMAZ 5350. So just a pretty standard, simple little supply truck. So some pretty cool additions here, mainly in the terms of like logistics and anti-aircraft defense. But I feel like, tanks are always done, and we don't really have too many of these kind of more backline type vehicles. So really kind of happy to build some of these and add them to the world. But that's it for the Soviet section, and let's go ahead and move on back. So we then have our kind of mixed European line. We have some Czechoslovakian vehicles and some German vehicles / Swiss. The first tier being this excavator, or this drill rig that we talked about in the previous update. This again has just been moved to a plot, and this is a joint German-Swiss company, so that's what we have going on there. Then right next to it we have the Tatra 813 8x8 Kolos heavy truck. So this is a Czechoslovakian built and designed truck. Really cool looking truck. I love the design of this. I think it's a pretty sweet and just kind of a typical European military style truck, and I really like it and think it fits really good in the world. So really happy with that, and that's it for this section. We'll move back to the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom section, we have our first ever fire truck. This here is the London Fire Brigade Mercedes Atego Mark III pump. So just basically a pump fire truck, but this is used by the London Fire Brigade. I believe it's a fully electric one as well. So one of those like first fully electric fire trucks. Really cool stuff, and I think it's a cool design. Really going to be a cool addition to any of your worlds if you're wanting some emerging vehicles, and hopefully we'll see some more fire trucks and stuff like that in the future. Again, available as a tutorial on the world. And with that, we'll be going ahead and now moving back to Japan and China. Moving back to Japan and China, we first have the Type 96 APC. So again, a kind of a cool 8x8 armored personnel carrier for Japan, one of their kind of more recent vehicles in their military. Really cool design for it. Again, pretty simple, straightforward, your typical kind of APC, but another build for Japan nonetheless. So cool stuff there. And then we have the anti-aircraft system here for China. This is the PGZ-09. I think this is the most up-to-date system. I believe so. I could be wrong, but I think it actually replaced this system here, the Type 95. So really cool stuff for it. Love the camouflage on it. I think it's really cool, and definitely a cool addition to the world. Again, some more kind of, other vehicles other than tanks, which I think are also really cool. Then further down over here, we do have the other front loader. This is a Hyundai version here. So again, this is a South Korean build. So over here in their Asian lineup of vehicles. Moving down a little bit further, we then have Brazil. Brazil here, we have the Astros 2 AV-LMU, which is a rocket artillery system that's currently in service with Brazil and a couple other South American countries. Really cool design for it. We have obviously the orange and green, which seems to be a pretty common camouflage for their military. But we have a cool design here. We have the transit version of the vehicle and then also the deployed version. So you have both these you can add into your worlds. If you're a fan of Brazilian builds and stuff like that. So really cool and happy the way those came out. We then also have the fire control system for it. So this is the Astros 2 AV-UCP, which is again designed to kind of be the control center and direct fire from these rocket brigades. So cool stuff for that. There's some other support vehicles in this lineup that I'm hopefully going to get to eventually in the future as well as just the Astros standard cargo truck. But really cool designs for this stuff. And we have obviously the version kind of here in transit, and we also have the deployed version, which just has the hydraulic legs that come out to the sides. But pretty cool stuff for that, and that's going to conclude our Modern Warfare / Cold War section. And with that, we're going to be going ahead and now dropping back to our World War II aircraft. Starting off with our American World War II line, we have the XA-38 Grizzly. This is a pretty cool aircraft I actually didn't know about until it was actually commissioned by an individual. And this here is a really cool ground attack aircraft concept where it had a 75mm cannon located in the nose of the aircraft. Just a really cool design for it, and just a kind of fun prototype aircraft that never really entered full production. It was just kind of a test. So good stuff, and again available as a tutorial on the channel. Let's move back to our next country. Moving back to our Russian / Soviet section, we have the PE-8, just a massive Soviet bomber of the time. I think probably their biggest bomber they had. Really cool looking build here. We have the cool camouflage with the tan, black, and green, very standard Soviet camouflage for the time. But really cool looking build, and should be a awesome addition once we finally get this out for your Soviet Air Forces. So again, looking forward to doing a tutorial for it, hopefully sometime in the near future. It's a bit of a bigger build, so maybe take a little bit of time to get to, but still a really cool build nonetheless. The next build we have here is going to be over in the UK. We have the Bolton Paul Defiant Mark I, which was a pretty interesting build. It had no forward-facing guns, and the only guns were located in a turret on the back of the plane that was used basically to shoot upwards and destroy bombers from beneath. Apparently, it did have some success, and then obviously it didn't do well at all in dogfights, as it had no forward-facing guns. So it quickly became phased out and a lot, but it's still a really cool aircraft, and yeah, just a fun one to add to our British lineup for sure. In our German section, we have one more build added. This is the HE-219A7U. It's a night fighter, a pretty cool looking build here. Again, just kind of your standard, 2-engine, basically German aircraft design. And again, you have the big, massive radar system here on the front, which was used for its night fighting capabilities. So, pretty cool aircraft, and again, available as a tutorial on the channel. And with that, we have one last section to cover, and that's going to be Japan. In our Japanese World War II section, we have the Kawasaki Ki-61, known as the Heen or the Tony. Cool fighter aircraft, one of the ones that is definitely overshadowed by the popularity of the Zero, but was basically around the same time as the Zero and was also a very numerous fighter used. But again, really cool design for it. Love the way it came out, and again, a cool addition to any of your basically Japanese military installations or whatever, especially if you're doing a land one, as this was more of an army fighter compared to that of the Navy Zero. But yeah, cool build, and with that, let's go ahead and move over to our Modern Warfare section. Moving to our Modern Warfare and Cold War American section, the first vehicle we have here is the DHC-5 Buffalo. This here just kind of a cargo or utility aircraft used by the United States military, mainly during the Vietnam War era, but just kind of a small two-propped aircraft. And then we have the in-flight version, so you have the in-flight version, and hopefully we'll see a tutorial for this soon. It's not like a big pressing aircraft on my radar to do, but it is a pretty cool one nonetheless. I think it looks really good for being a utility aircraft. But then further down the line here, we might have to go down just a wee bit, but we have the C2 Greyhound, which was a commission build and should be a pretty cool addition to any of your carriers. We had the EC Hawkeye, but we never actually got around to doing the C2, and this here is basically that. We have the C2 Greyhound cargo aircraft. Again, really nice design for it, and I'm hoping to use this as a basis to actually build the a new version of the Hawkeye. But yeah, really cool design for it. I love the way the tail came out, and obviously it's just a really clean looking aircraft and a cool one if you want to add these to your carriers. Unfortunately, these are being phased out here in favor of the Ospreys, but still a really cool vehicle, and had a pretty important purpose on an aircraft carrier. But that's it for our American section. Let's move back to our Soviet section. Moving back to our Soviet and Russian section, we have the Topolov Tu-22M Backfire. This here is one of their strategic bombers that's currently in use by, obviously, it was used by the Soviet Union, but also still in use by Russia. Really cool swept wing aircraft. We have the extended wing version and also the swept back version. So really cool stuff for those. I, again, really love the way that these came out, and I think they're pretty, or both versions, obviously, but I think it came out really good, and I'm really looking to get forward to getting a tutorial out for this sometime soon. But at the time being, it's kind of on the back burner until, I get around to having the time to do it. But yeah, pretty big tutorial, should be a fun build, and I know some of you have been asking for it for a while, so you'll be definitely getting this build pretty soon. But that is it for our Soviet section, and we'll be going ahead and moving back to, I believe, Canada. So in our mixed line here of United Kingdom and Canada, we have a new Canada build. This here is more of a civilian aircraft, but a cool one nonetheless. This is the de Havilland Canada-8 Q300. Again, designed to be kind of more of a regional airliner, but we have it just kind of in a solid white, so you can make your own liveries and stuff like that on it. But cool build. We have obviously landed in-flight versions here for the tutorial, and it is out as a tutorial on the channel. One of my first civilian airliners, so actually I think it might actually be my first one. So definitely worth checking out if you're into that kind of stuff. But that's it for our Canadian section, and we'll be going ahead and moving back to the newest country added, Poland. And then mixed into our Swedish line here, we have the PZLW3. This is the warm version Anaconda, which is a basically search and rescue version of the W3. Really cool looking helicopter, and I love the way it came out. I love the orange little highlights and markings on it. But a really cool addition, and this is our first ever Polish modern warfare vehicle, so definitely really cool as well to finally add them to our Modern Warfare section. But that right there is going to complete all the aircraft we have that are new, and with that we'll be going ahead and moving back to our BAFTA builds. Moving into our World War II BAFTA build, or World War I and World War II BAFTA build section, the first build we have here is a redesign for the USS Arizona. Definitely a well-deserved redesign, and this new design for it came out really good. We have it in the correct color scheme it would have been in December 7th, 1941, and it just looks really, really clean, and I'm really overall happy with the way it came out. So again, we have the new Arizona, again, out as a tutorial on the channel, and hopefully we'll start to see the rest of the ships at Pearl Harbor pop up here soon, and get all those built up in this cool new standard of building. With that though, we're going to go ahead and then move back to Italy. Moving on back to Italy, we have of course some new additions. Italy's been one of those nations that's really been growing a lot recently, and we have quite a bit of Italian ships, and the past few BAFTA build tutorials have actually been Italian themed, but we're getting light cruisers, heavy cruisers, aircraft carriers, battleships, so really kind of fleshing out the Italian Navy, which is really cool because I think it's one of the countries that we really spent a lot of time not really developing up. The first one we have here is going to be the RN Duca degli Abruzzi class. So really cool looking ship here. Again, a light cruiser, one of the peak or pinnacle light cruisers of the Italian Navy during the war. So really cool design for it, and really happy with it. I was at tutorial. Next ship we have here is going to be our first Italian destroyer. This is the RN Carabinieri Soldati class. So again, a very kind of small destroyer. You'll see here, very small in relative to other destroyers and stuff like that at the time, but a really cool looking build here. Only has 2 main gun batteries, which is also very interesting, but again, more of a torpedo boat than anything with its 2 torpedo launchers there in the midship. But again, really cool design for it. Love the way it came out, and hopefully we'll see a tutorial for that soon, so you then have some destroyers to go along with the ever-growing Italian fleet, which has basically just kind of sparked up with 5 new ships over the past couple updates. So definitely good stuff to see from Italy, and with that we'll go ahead and of course move back to Japan. It of course wouldn't be a full model world update video if I didn't cover the addition of the Japanese BAFTA build line. We have the IJN Miyoko, part of the Miyoko class of heavy cruisers used by Japan. Again, a really cool and kind of I would say semi-recognizable class. It has a really interesting funnel behind it, but yeah, really cool build. Love the way it came out in one of the most recent BAFTA build tutorials at the time of recording this video. But really cool design, should make a cool addition to any of your worlds, and that's going to conclude our BAFTA builds altogether. A surprisingly low number of BAFTA builds for this update, but hopefully we'll see some more in the next one. And with that, let's go ahead and move into the outro. Well, that guys right there is going to conclude my update for the Model World version 1.3. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed it and are looking forward to a lot of the builds. If you made it this far in the video, definitely be sure to let me know down in the comments what your favorite vehicle was in this update. I'd definitely love to hear what you guys are excited to see and what you guys are looking forward to most to come out as a tutorial, or if it's already out as a tutorial, which one's your favorite of this update. With that though, thank you guys again all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this this update, and definitely stay tuned for more updates in the future and all that fun stuff. Again, a big thanks to all of my recent commissioners that have also been commissioning builds and asking for them to be built. I really do appreciate it, and it means a lot to me. So I definitely appreciate it, and definitely feel free to keep those commissions keep on rolling in, as they're definitely supporting me, and obviously we're knocking out some really cool and interesting, unique vehicles I would have never even thought of. So yeah, with that, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys all so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been here at 2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.